Hi, this is Kathy Quinn with Floriani. Floriani is a division of R&K Distributing, and I want to welcome you to this week's Project of the Week. Now, we had discussed last week that we were going to look at splitting designs this week. I'm going to put that off one more week simply because we've had lots of questions this week about micro lettering. Do we have the ability to do micro lettering? So I want to talk to you about that. Floriani has absolutely fantastic micro lettering. We've got 13 micro fonts within your Floriani software. And we also, remember, we carry 60 weight micro thread. If you want a small font to look good, you also need to use the proper thread. So we need to talk about both aspects. First, where do you get the lettering? Well, as always, Floriani Total Control U has it all, and we continue to add more all the time. So let's look at small lettering. Why do we use small lettering? Well, you might have a logo that needs tiny lettering, and this tiny lettering is a very precise digitizing process. So doing it ourselves is not always an option. So we wanted to put it in the software for you so that you wouldn't need to go out and buy small lettering fonts, which is possible. We wanted to just make it easy because, of course, that's the thing with Floriani. We are the easiest to use. You might want to put small lettering, say, on the sleeve of a sports shirt. You might want to put a saying on it. You might want to put small lettering around a fine design on a hand towel or on a burp cloth. I use small lettering quite frequently, and to have micro lettering, that's where it really is, because you can't just squish regular lettering down till you make it the size you want, because it really doesn't come out crisp and clean. And without 60 weight thread, even when it's digitized at 3 and 4 and 5 millimeters, it still looks much neater, much nicer if you use the proper weight thread, which would be your micro thread, which is made for micro lettering. So let's look at Floriani and see what we have to offer. Now let's come to our T for text and left mouse click, and I'm going to click the circle. Well, no, let's just go ahead and click straight text for a moment. And I'm going to left mouse click on screen. Now you can see right here I have already picked a micro text. Now how do we know what our micro text is? Well, this says right behind it, it's 4 millimeter. Anything that's 7, 5, 4, 3 millimeters, those are all micro text. And we happen to have 13 micro text alphabets in here for you. So let's look. Let's look and see what we've got. Now, another thing before we move on and look, I want you to notice if you want to know what letters are going to, what characters you have in a specific alphabet, I want you to put your cursor. Now notice this solid 4 millimeter is all capitals. It's got number, it's got punctuation. So that's what this alphabet has. So let's look. Let's come on down, and I just want to kind of quickly, we've got Elena, which is a really pretty text. Now notice it's got upper, lowercase, it's got all the characters. So let's just change this to Elena. This is 4 millimeter text again. Now I do have this on 3D. I'm going to go ahead and take the 3D off so you can see how fine this text is. Now even though this is micro text and it's made to be tiny, if you stitch it with a 60 weight micro thread, you're going to see even a more beautiful result. Okay, let's go ahead and select this again and go on down. So we have Elena. We come down here and we have Artiste. There you go, there's another micro text. It's got some cool look to it there. Let's keep moving. We've got Brio. Let's look at Brio, and again, you can see that's upper and lowercase. Let's apply Brio. Let's keep looking. Let's come on down and notice, how do I pick them? I pick them because they tell me, here's line block at 3 millimeters. Here's a line small, 3, 4 millimeters. Look at line block. Now again, this one, what has it got? It has uppercase, it has numbers. Now this is a really, really nice text, especially when you're going to do labeling. quilt labels. You want to put some labeling on something. Or maybe you have a very small, fine logo that you need lettering on that's not a satin stitch lettering, but that's a pretty run stitch lettering. Look at how nice this is, how crisp this is. Again, just come on down. We've got right here, you can see there's two more. Let's move on down. Let's come on down here. Here's our princess. This is another, well, there's port first. Here's port. Now, I really like port. It just looks really nice stitched out. It's got a real masculine look. Looks really good when you stitch that out. We've got staccato. Well, we've got small serif. I'm sorry, I'm missing some. Here's small sans serif. Here's small serif. We've got solid 4 millimeter. We've got the staccato 4 millimeter. We've got style 4 millimeter. In fact, we've got 14. I only counted 13. We've got 14 now. So as you can see, we've got lots and lots of fun small text for you all to work with. Now, as it comes in, this I'm going to type in Floriani here. And I'm using upper and lower case. I want you to see how beautiful and clear that is. Now this is tiny, tiny text. Now if you stitch this again with the micro thread, that is going to look absolutely amazing. Now 3D doesn't ever do justice in any 3D program, but you get the idea. It's a very clean and nice text. Now I just used this text to do a saying on a small hand towel that I did a micro stitch design on, and then I put a saying around it using this text, and it turned out so pretty, so crisp, so fine. Now remember, these are free. They come in your software. We continue to add them. You'll see more and more as time goes on as we continue to add. We're looking at better ways to even identify them for you, because if you notice, I'm just going to click down here. In our lettering, you'll notice that as we talked about last week, you've got letters that have O's on the outside of them. That tells you there's other options for those certain fonts. I've put in a request that we might put an M in front of these for micro, so you can very easily go down and know which texts have been digitized for micro. Now all of these are wonderful to use. We'll continue to add them. They work with all of our lettering features. So if I come into text, and how I used this last one, I went ahead and used the style with a circle. And I'll put live for today, and I'll put on the bottom line dream for tomorrow. Okay, now with this style 4 millimeter, I'm going to apply that on here. And remember, if I want to make my circumference smaller, I'm going to bring it in. And you'll say that is a very nice, clear micro font. You can use it with your vertical, with your circular lettering. You can use it with your straight lettering. And you can also use these along your path. So remember, you've got all your lettering paths. So I can come in here. I'm just going to scoot down on this page a little bit. Left mouse click and select a path for my small lettering to go along. Again, I could just pick this one for here. Live for today. Dream for tomorrow. If I can spell tomorrow twice in a row. Nope, can't. So again, I've got this. I'm going to go ahead and apply this along this line. So you can see, you can also put this on any of your, where you pick your own lines, your own path. And this lettering works just like any of our other lettering. If I want to kern in between, no problem, I can kern in between. If I want to move a specific letter, if I want to make it longer, taller, that all applies. Everything applies to small lettering. The most important thing to realize about small lettering is that it has been digitized perfectly for you for all that tiny lettering that we've always wanted. And we've always shrunk our lettering down, and it makes it look thick and clubby. So by using our micro lettering that we've put in the program for you, and also with your micro thread, you're going to find an absolutely exquisite lettering feature in here. And note, this feature comes with the software, and as we add more fonts, they will continue to be yours at no charge. And there's a lot of fun with small lettering. I came in and I wanted to put something on a onesie, so I came into my custom shapes, because of course you've got all your custom shapes, and we have a real pretty little crown in here. And I picked the crown, and I used that small lettering, and I'm just going to go ahead and do it straight. I actually curved it, I actually put it on a path. Whoops. Come on, text. I want it straight text. There we go. Princess Avery. Now this was on a new baby, and I used it for a onesie. Absolutely perfect. Now of course we know I brought in a piece of artwork, so what do I have to do with that artwork? Well, I'm going to have to convert it. So what I did is I converted it to a steel stitch by my One Click Wonder. I went ahead and made it at a 2-point width, 2mm width on that. Because my lettering's real fine, I didn't want my crown width to overpower my fine lettering, because this is on a little onesie, so when you start putting big heavy stuff on it, it just loses. So with that, I selected all items. I went ahead and I scrolled through my colors here, found the pink that I wanted, and there I had my Princess Avery. You've got all these beautiful custom shapes in here, and remember, we continue to add more. You can play with the word art where you put several different fonts in, put the letters, the words at different angles, and have a whole lot of fun knowing that all your micro stitch lettering will stitch out absolutely beautiful. And remember, with Floriani, we will continue to add more and more fonts. Look for stuff every time we have a new upgrade. Look and see that what we've added for you. With this, I could play with my new color feature. In fact, just real quick, I'm really enjoying my new color feature. Let's take Princess here and let's give them a couple of different shades here. Okay. Now I'm going to come into my color here, and I can come in and I could lighten this up if I wanted a more pastel look. I could darken it if I wanted a bolder look. And remember, you can always reset if you get too crazy. You can always reset and go back where you were. You can randomize, because sometimes the program will just come up with a fun combination that you like much more than what you picked. And remember, you can continue to randomize, but again, if you get crazy, just reset. So come in here, play, enjoy. Work with your micro stitch lettering that Floriani has given you in your Floriani Total Control U. We look forward to talking to you next week. I will talk about splitting designs for sure next week, but we had so many questions this week on, does Floriani have micro lettering? Absolutely. Anything you want to do in embroidery, Floriani has. We want to thank you for this week's Project of the Week, and I look forward to seeing you next week.